So I was scrolling on LinkedIn and I came across a post that was subtly labeled, "Please help" in hand-drawn paint here. And I looked up, and this is the founder, Faz Imran. And he put up a post that says, "Founder Dilemma. We have a dozen perfect fit clients in our pipeline right now and climbing, but we're completely maxed out. We're doing whatever we can to keep moving, but I'm starting to hallucinate worse than GPT on calls now. Between servicing current customers, building the product they need, and closing our raise, my co founder and I are stretched way too thin. The options we're considering: pause sales, focus on product, plus current customers, and then reopen in 30 days. Option two, raise the price. Use higher pricing as a filter, only take the absolute best fits. Number three, hire fast. Bring on an AE or an account executive or engineer immediately to create capacity. Number four, waitlist everyone. Keep momentum, but delay onboarding by 2 to 4 weeks. We're seeing insane demand with everything the way it is right now. We don't want to say no to people who are perfect fits. We just need time to catch up. But we're also worried we'll fail to deliver if we keep saying yes now. What would you do? Genuinely curious how other founders have handled this. And this jumped out immediately as a perfect situation to jump in and help with because we're looking at a founder, rapid growth startup, someone who has built something that's very successful, but they're literally creaking under their own success and need somebody to come in and kind of help give them breathing room or need something to give them breathing room. But all of the options listed here, one way or another, will have a risk. That'd be a gamble, right? So if they pause sales, they risk losing momentum. If they raise the price, they risk losing interest. If they hire fast, they risk not necessarily wasting, but wasting time is the big concern on a bad fit hire or somebody who's not going to fit long term, who they'll have to rehire soon. And the hire fast also gives you additional work because you're bringing on somebody you have to teach them how to do what you're doing to actually have them generate any capacity. And then there's waitlist everyone, which is just pause sales. So keep momentum. So you're saying yes to deals, but saying you can't start for another 2 to 4 weeks. And reasonably speaking, 30 days, 2 to 4 weeks, these are relatively small delays, even if you do go ahead and jump in there and do that delay time. But what really stands out about this post is this is someone who is genuinely concerned about doing this thing right, doing the thing right by customers, doing things right by the company, doing the thing right by himself and his co founder. And that stands out as somebody who genuinely needs the help and is interested in getting it. So that's why this jumped out to me as like a perfect case. So we've talked briefly. We're looking at potentially meeting up later, but while I'm waiting on that, I wanted to go ahead and talk about my process from here. So I talk a lot about customer success, but I also specifically mention client experience or customer experience because it goes from the pre-sale, your marketing and everything, through sales and contracts, through into that implementation process, and then into that long-term customer relationship. And this post doesn't say anything about which part is really the challenge. It looks like sales is not the challenge. So sales and marketing is bringing in too many good fit customers, and we'll look at that in a minute. But it could potentially be execution, it could be delivery, it could be that follow through and that long-term relationship. It's not clear. So that's going to be one of my first questions. So to look at this says founder of IntentPost. And we look at this here, IntentPost, which says their tagline is punch through the digital slop with unforgettable mail, which immediately is a great hook. Good visual, simple, says something, and promises physical mail. And right now, in a moment where digital marketing is so huge and physical marketing is somewhat forgotten, it's still such a major piece of marketing and promotion, but it's something that's not really being innovated or iterated on. So you can see immediately just from that why there's so much demand in this, which takes us to, actually, I think I went too far, which takes us to the actual website itself. Use digital intent signals. So you're talking about really kind of trendy modern AI and marketing tools that you're seeing quite a bit to send physical mail that gets seen. And that immediately I can see why this is generating a ton of buzz really, really quickly. So cut through the noise of email and direct messages, send personalized handwritten messages and gifts when it matters most. And now, in my personal experience from working at Apogee, an aggressive growth startup some time ago, I know that physical mailers are hugely impactful and they make you stand out immediately if they are researched, thought out, timely, and personalized direct mailings. Very little gets someone's attention like that, and you're gonna get a prospect's attention with that. And this is a company that promises to do that for other companies. Now, when I saw this done before, it was done in-house, and it was an enormous amount of work and time that went into that. So having a contractor that can promise that same delivery to you and your company is very, very impressive. So we got set up in minutes. That's a big promise. Risk-free guarantee, trusted by top B2B teams. Um, got this trolley here. This is a pretty straightforward, fairly basic website here. We're just looking at this in the world of AI slop. Your messages never reach your prospects. Your prospects can smell personalized outreach from a mile away, leaving your message buried along with hundreds of other custom messages. And note that personalized and custom is in quotes to demonstrate the sarcasm intent there. So this is saying we are going to compete with this by giving you something that's actually personalized, which is a big promise. Let's go ahead and look at this. So cold email, you send prospects email to get deleted or end up in spam, or cold DM, consents auto. Yeah, so especially right now in the AI age, basically everyone on the internet has seen an absolute deluge, great word, good to use it, an absolute flood of direct email marketing, direct social media marketing, direct ads that eh, you can tell people using the same kind of automation systems and that they're not necessarily working. Some maybe are, but a lot of us also clicked on them and found them to be not the products that were promised. So then we don't respond to any of the others because they're using the same tactics as the thing that didn't really do what it promised to do. So this promises to do something different. We leverage real-time intent signals to keep your reach, to help you reach your ideal buyers and re-engage a stale pipeline. Whether you're looking to connect with new prospects, wake up old leads, or push deals across the finish line, it all starts with showing up at the right time in a way that actually gets noticed. Okay. IntentPost tracks real-time buying signals across social, web, and email, then automatically sends personalized postcards, gifts, and follow-ups that cut through the noise and turn attention into meetings. Now, so the promise here is to use kind of AI scraping tools, the tools that are already being used to find prospects for these automated engagement things, but taking the follow-up marketing piece dramatically further, promising to send personalized physical products essentially to them based on that. I can immediately see again where delivery here would be incredibly challenging. And then also, we mentioned the hiring fast being one of the options this company could take from here. Hiring fast with this specialized skill set could be extra risky. So, yeah, we'll get to that in just a second. Connect your CRM or build your list. So, this promises some level of CRM integration. I assume there is a limited list of CRMs that it can connect to. Maybe a very thorough one. I don't know. We detect signals that matter and curate relevant outreach when a cold prospect shows intent. And typically that's you search for something, you visit a website, you put something in your shopping cart, all of kind of the things you do in your day-to-day shopping behavior that stop just short of actually making a purchase. Those would be your intent signals, some of the more common intent signals. Automatically creates a personalized postcard or gift tailored to your budget and perfectly timed to spark a response and restart the conversation. Now, if you're anything like me, you've done this where you put something in your cart, then you decide you don't want it, you close it out, and then suddenly you get 4 emails promising you deals on that exact product, and you're just like, oh my God, please leave me alone. Now, this promises to use that, but in a way that hopefully is a little bit more effective. And it certainly will be meaningful for the people looking to make a big purchase. This could push them over the edge if they're debating or shopping between different options. We deliver, track, and turn interest into meetings. We handle fulfillment, shipping, and follow-ups while tracking every send, delivery, and response. Every touch is logged back to your CRM, so you can see which signals turn into replies, meetings, and closed deals. And that right there is gold. So the fulfillment shipping piece is incredibly challenging. That's the physical infrastructure, the actual taking the physical thing and mailing it. That's wild. But then the tracking the delivery and response and logging that directly into your CRM is absolutely massive. Having something that says your package was delivered logged into your Salesforce, for example, is a really pretty incredible thing. So I'm reading this, I'm already somewhat sold on the idea, but there's still so much I don't know about the actual execution of how this happens. 99% open rates, real meetings booked. And let me take a quick look back up at the customers mentioned. So these are the folks supported on this: Stanford University, Y Combinator, Harvard University, Techstars. So this doesn't necessarily say who the ideal fit customers are. So I went straight to thinking about retail, but retail tends to be usually fairly small items where the way this is going through, this promises to be larger ticket sales, like bigger deals. And I assume that's what's going on here because also mentioned the overwhelming volume of clients was, I think, a dozen. So, I mean, even with a small team, a dozen clients can be a lot, but depending on the scale of these companies and the products they're selling, that changes the conversation dramatically. So 99% open rates, real meetings booked, emails get opened 1 in 5 times. So that's saying the weakness of email marketing. Handwritten letters and custom gifts get opened almost every time, which is harder to track, but sure, we'll take it. That's why our clients can turn signals into meetings. So we can view the case studies. We'll look at that in a second. Loved by our beta customers. IntentPost cut our CAC in a third. So cut it down 75%. No, excuse me, 66%. Our SaaS business was able to book 15 meetings in our first month by sending handwritten direct mail. Wow. So SaaS, so we're talking like larger ticket items, we're talking bigger deals. That makes a lot more sense for what customer base is being targeted here. The images appear to be broken. That may be me though. This is huge for us. For context, our business does 5 million ARR, and we normally spend $1,500 per qualified meeting, which can be a lot, but we'll see. Last year, our cold email campaigns were bringing in, typo, 6 qualified meetings per month. This year, it's barely brought in one. We tried InterPost because, or excuse me, IntentPost, geez, because we had nothing to lose, but it has now become our #1 acquisition channel. Foz and the team are amazing. It also dominoed to social channels and getting posted on social media too. And that is a really big note about this physical thing, because if you have a customer that gets a custom mailer in hand, the chances they're going to take a picture of that and drop it on LinkedIn or Instagram are very, very high. So you get that built-in social organic advertising just for doing this. And now we're going to get to one of the bottom pieces. So in the original post, and I don't know if I actually mentioned that, let's look at this. By far, the most common response you got is raise price. That was very, very common. And I want you to keep that in mind when we look at this part here. Excuse me. We're looking at this. Beta customers, Pro plan, Enterprise plan. I believe these actually have already gone up, but I'm not totally sure. So we're looking at $2,500 a month. Yeah, $6,500 a month or $15,000 a month as the three possible plans. And this is up to 300 prospects per month, which that cost per prospect, that's less than $1,000 per prospect. Let me actually do the math on that. I should know this very quickly, but I mean, this should be easy math, but it'll help to kind of set the stage here just to go ahead and talk through it. 2,500 divided by 300. Yes, it's 8. Yeah, what is that? That's not, surely not. Yeah, that's roughly $8 per prospect, which is insanely low for what we're talking about here. And that's why I sort of paused on the numbers. $8 per prospect for a tracked physical mailer that I don't see how you're turning a profit on that. Like based on just the physical infrastructure of a customized mailer alone, surely that's eating up most of the $8 per month. Now, obviously, that's the beta customers. That is the customers who are trying this out as your proof of concept patch. And then you get your pro plan, 6,500 a month. Um, yeah, so white glove setups, we're talking about the CRM integration, a list of what you're looking for, what your target market is, what intent signals you want to track. Like we're talking multiple meetings, multiple setup pieces. Even if the setup is quick, there's a lot that goes into this, making sure that this is targeting the correct people to make sure that both the company delivers what's promised and making sure that the customer gets the good fit customers that they're looking for. So address enrichment, all right, 300 all-inclusive mail sent. So we get personalization, printing, handwriting, postage, delivery. Wow. 24/7 team access via Slack. That's nice. And then a founder's direct line. So direct line to the founders. Geez, that's worth the payment alone just to talk to the founders. Then we got the pro plan, which is they all, let's see. Now this is the enterprise plan doesn't actually have a limit of number of qualified prospects. This one does. So let's see the differences. Everything over the track current pipeline for signals, in-depth reporting, 5 intent meeting guarantee. Wow, okay, that's a big promise. And then gift sends. So they have gift sends that might be a little bit bigger than the personalized mailers. Interesting. And then we got this, and then we have in real life surprise experiences for prospects. Oh man, okay. So again, just looking at these are really, really big promises. And so we'll touch on that again in just a second here. So this all is what I would do just going through and trying to understand the company from the outside, based on the promises, based on what's going on, based on what they already have on their public website. Okay, that makes sense. And then so for the pro plan, let's see this again. So we'll just do the math again. So where the beta customers are getting $8 per customer per month, it is more than double for the pro plan. But the pro plan is probably more the pricing it's going to move to because the beta customers pricing is not sustainable. I mean, honestly, if you're talking about hourly costs for the people doing all of this, $8 per prospect, no. Especially if you're doing multiple mailers per prospect, you are comfortably over $8 in cost per prospect than you are. So you're losing money on that plan. Basic math, just head math. I'm fairly certain you're losing money on that. So it goes up to $22 per prospect for the pro plan, which still, if you're looking at that volume of prospects with high dollar meetings set, like that still is chump change for this. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and check real quick what you would typically charge for physical mailing campaigns. What and this is something I should have done in advance. Apologies for this. Typically charge for mailing campaigns. So this says something between 30 cents and $10 per piece for direct mailing campaigns. And again, these are untargeted. These are not personalized. This is just raw base cost. So the upper end is $10 per piece for direct mailing campaigns. So this one being on the $10 mark, being a premium product already doing more than what this does. Yeah, so that already like is a very, very low cost. Like that's that the initial advice was raise your prices, not surprising. And this one here is roughly double, but still, again, with everything that's included, like the CRM live connection would probably be worth that by itself. Adding in the personalization and then also the extra stuff involved here. And this is multiple pieces of physical mail with digital follow-ups. Like that's a lot. So yes, can see this comfortably going up in price. And that would also, yeah, easy answer. Let's see. Do I need technical skills? Let's see what we got. No, just upload a list or work with our team to generate one. We handle enrichment signals and all that. Very good. All you have to do is approve and watch the booked meetings roll in. Who's it for? B2B and SaaS and service companies selling high ticket products. So if you're looking at 300 prospects, your return on investment here is likely very, very high. Yeah, your message we make sure your messages break through the noise and actually reach the decision maker. This is very good. How do you track results? We log every send, delivery, QR code scan, and follow up with email to get meetings booked, know exactly what's working. Ooh. Is this cold or outbound? Cold outbound or only warm prospects? Cold outbound, we generate lists of cold prospects that are likely to purchase from your business based on intent signals and buying data. So they already are doing a little bit ahead of cold outbound because they're already pre-qualifying leads to some degree. It's worked very well for following up with prospects that have ghosted throughout the funnel with a custom and signal-based outreach. And yes, like prospects will ghost for all sorts of different reasons in your sales process. That's not it's difficult to judge anything from that because again, a lot of different kinds of customers will ghost for a lot of different reasons, and that doesn't mean they're not coming back. And this kind of follow-up is exactly the thing to bring the likely but somewhat hesitant ones back to the table to talk. So this is really, really good. I got a kick out of this. There's one more thing I wanted to show here before we talk about the last piece. That is the about. Built by marketers designed to get you seen. After sending millions of emails and spending hundreds of millions on paid ads, one truth became clear. Everyone's fighting for the same click, the same inbox, the same 3 seconds of attention. We all know that. Anybody in the digital space in any way for the past decade has felt that. And anyone in sales has felt that as well, where it's very challenging to break through the noise. We built IntentPost because it's time to stop playing in crowded channels and start owning the ones no one else is using. There is really I don't want to say no. There's really very little competition in the physical mailer space because it's been so ineffective for so long, and no one has really gotten a handle on how to do physical delivery for the level of digital knowledge we're able to get. So this is connecting those ties, that digital intent signals with the physical mailer and customization for the first time that I've seen. So this stands out as an innovative and exciting product it has a very real long-term need. Like tons of companies out there are doing physical mailers still and are always looking for ways to make them better. And this option is cheaper than most of what they've been doing now anyway. But the part that cracked me up is this part. Some guy smiling. We're shipping very fast. Haven't had time to make a cool launch video yet. And it's eye-catching. It actually adds something to this page. It cracked me up when I saw that. I was like, all right, you got me there. That's pretty good. And you can pause it if you want to. Love it. Meet the team. There's Foz, and then these other folks I have not looked up much yet. Unsure head of something. Okay, I like it. Small team shipping fast. There's a lot of quirkiness in the website here, and you can feel very much that this is it looks good, it presents itself well, makes a very strong value case or a value proposition, but still is very much like early startup. There's a lot of stuff to polish up here. Nope, nope. Well, that didn't work. Hey, there we go. That actually did work. Okay. Yes. So, okay. Now we're going to go back to the original post. So here's the questions here. And now, based on what we know, what little we know about the product itself, we're looking at to speculate a little bit and talk about what I would do to approach this situation. So they've got too much business interest, not enough capacity to deliver. The questions I have that I would need answered are number one, where is the bottleneck? Is it delivery? Is it onboarding? Is it the literal taking the meetings with these customers to figure out what they need in their pre-qualification? In that website piece, on that marketing piece, it made a very simple statement saying, like, we take care of everything, easy, no problem. I would imagine that over time that's going to be fleshed out considerably, saying like very clearly, here are the expectations, here's the process, here's the deliverables. That's one of the first things I would go to make sure clear expectations are set up in advance. That may kill some deals, that may stop some meetings, but it's really important to make sure that everyone coming to the table is prepared to know exactly what they're going to go through so that the folks on the company side are sure what they're going to deliver, how they're going to start, how the conversation is going to open. Ideally, the customer comes to the table with some things prepared in advance. And then the customer can go to this knowing, like, here's what I need, here's what we're going to talk about, here's where we're going to start. That's really, really big. It cannot be overstated how much time that saves in the very beginning of the process, both letting the customer pre prep, letting the company pre prep, and then make sure that delivery starts just a step earlier or that starts a step further. Then the next step is on, I assume, the delivery. So especially if we're talking about the custom mailers, the personalization piece, I don't know how that's being done, and I could easily see that being the big bottleneck here. If that's not the bottleneck, if the whoever's doing the actual follow through and execution of the packaging, customization, delivery, if that channel is quick and easy, that can scale indefinitely, easy process. We got this covered. So if that's the challenge, like if that is the bottleneck, then you're looking at a very, very custom, fairly intensive search for a very specific group of talents. You need people that can do this kind of thing very quickly, very effectively, and reliably. So you have to make sure they're getting the correct dresses with the correct personalization on time. Because there's very little worse than delivering one of these things late after the intent is faded, or delivering a something personalized to the wrong prospect. So it shows the wrong name for the person it gets delivered to. Like that would be bad. So you want to make sure quality control stays good. You want to make sure that your timeline is good. You want to make sure that the product you're promising is being delivered where and when you say it will be, obviously. So maybe you do need to hire people for that actual execution of the product. Maybe you need to hire people to actually host the meetings for the product. Maybe you just need to raise prices and start there. Hard to say. Hopefully, you don't need to turn away any customers. So the first trick would be seeing where the exact bottleneck is and going from there. Do you need to hire execution people? Do you need to hire meeting people? Based on what he says here, he said bring on an AE or engineer. So that covers both sides. So the account executive would cover that sales side, having the meetings with these prospects and moving from the sales into execution. The engineer would be taking that from sales and going to that execution piece. So maybe they need both ends. Maybe they had someone to handle the initial meetings and someone to actually deliver on the product. Um, and the engineer may also be the person that handles the direct integration with the CRM. So there are a bunch of different things implied in this post. And I mean, it's a small team. Of course, they really need to grow in every single category. But again, we talked about the cost of that beta plan, and chances are they have not been making a huge profit yet. So raise prices, almost certainly hire more, but it depends on where. And for that fast hire, you're gonna need a really pretty specific um, recruitment process. You need somebody that can find prospects quickly, vet them, and get them up to speed very, very fast. We're talking startup scale that's already growing more quickly than it can handle. So you need people in place to fill in these gaps real quick. So yeah, this is an awesome. This still sends out as a really exciting situation because again, cool product, doing something no one else is doing right now. Obviously, a very aggressive value proposition. Tons of demand, and they need help. Legitimately need help to do a thing they really care about doing right. Awesome. So here's where I personally would help. Now I could step in immediately into that AE role in a temporary capacity, where I could go ahead and take those meetings. I am experienced. I'm very, very good at this kind of thing. I could go ahead and have these meetings, some of these customer meetings to get these people in place. And then we maybe go to this waitlist period where we wait on that execution piece. So you could do a combination of these. But so hiring someone short term but very experienced like me, you could brought up to speed very quickly and fill in the gap while you hire is a way to immediately add capacity while giving you the breathing room you need to find long-term replacements. It's lower risk because it's a short-term contract. It is less onboarding because you're taking in somebody who's very experienced in this stuff immediately. And that is just a very quick and easy way to go ahead and take advantage of someone who is in my exact position. Then also I have an existing network of people who could become the long-term hires. So I could already come in with pre-vetted leads on people who could do this and could make the pivot very quickly. I can't guarantee that without knowing necessarily exactly what they're looking for, but if we're talking AE or engineer in this space, I have a very broad network in SaaS tech space that could fairly comfortably jump in here, especially if we're talking about that CRM integration. I know a lot of people are very good at that. So yeah, that's the really big piece. So I would love to help with this. I hope it works out, but I really wanted to take a minute to go ahead and talk through this to make sure that it was clearly understood what I'm doing, what I'm excited about, where I can help in a situation like this, in part because I wanted to talk through it, but also in part because I wanted to make be a lot more public about what I do and what I'm good at and the situations that I get particularly excited about. So best of luck to Foz. Either way, I really hope that this does work out. I hope they're able to solve it. If they go just to pause sales, focus on product and current customers, more power to them. I basically guarantee they're going to have to raise the price in some degree. And using the higher price as a filter, I think they're still not going to have. See, they could raise it pretty significantly and still probably not see a big decline in sales. I think they're going to see those sales continue to be high because right now they're priced extremely aggressively for what I assume their internal costs are. And then in terms of the hire fast and or waitlist part, this is where somebody like me could jump in and add that breathing room, and that's where maybe we wind up, maybe we don't. But hopefully this is helpful. I very much enjoyed this, and yeah, we'll see what happens next. Cheers.